So I decided I wanted to make a hanging light that had butterflies all around the outside of it. So I created a butterfly pattern after buying this light cage on Amazon. And I just drew one half of the butterfly and then I traced it where the top was facing up, and then I turned it over and traced the other side so that I'd have full butterflies when I got done. And I used 3 different sizes of butterfly and 2 different colors of glass. All of the glass was sort of iridescent. Um, and I trace it on with Sharpie. I use a black Sharpie with light colored glasses and a white Sharpie with dark colored glasses, and rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip will always take it off very, very easily. So I'm tracing now on the second type of glass. I labeled each one, like this was the 1-2 butterfly, so I labeled it 1 and 1B for backside, and 2 and 2B, so I could easily figure out which pieces go together, because that can be surprisingly difficult. And I tried to draw each one in a way that I could still cut it out. Once I had them totally drawn, I went through and cut them with my glass cutter. Because they're all curved, it's multiple cuts to get every curve. You can hear the TV in the background. Those are my nippers to take off little tiny extra pieces of glass. These all have to be shaved down afterwards because they're too rough to just foil. So in all, I think I made 12 butterflies, so 2 of each size from each color of glass. It takes quite a while to cut all those out. After cutting them all, they all have to be ground down so that they won't have any sharp edges that cut the foil, which also takes a long time. And then after you grind them, you have to wash them all because the foil won't stick if there's any of the dust debris on the edges. I forgot to film the foiling of the butterflies, so I just show you my foiling machine from a previous project. You can basically, it has a little wheel where you can run the butterfly wing or the piece of glass around it, and it will kind of center it and apply the foil. It almost works better as a foil dispenser than it does at centering, but you know, you make it work. After foiling it, you have to take a presser, the one that I'm using there, and press it down all on top and on all the sides, so that once you solder it, the seams don't come up and you know, the thing would fall apart. Once all the sides are pressed, I take a razor blade and make sure that there aren't any little edges showing, because they will make the foil show up more when it's soldered. So once I got all of the butterfly wings foiled, I had to solder them together, so I have to solder each side together first. So I lined them all out so that the right parts were together. And now I'm applying flux. I use a liquid flux because I just like the way it works. It's a Novacan, I think. And I'm tacking it so they don't move once I start fluxing it. And flux the seam first, and then I just tin the edges because, you know, it's got to be tinned. Now I use these 45-degree angle pieces of foam, which work amazingly well, to hold the butterfly in the position that I want it in so that I can solder it together and it'll stay in that position. Now I can turn it over, and I used wire and twisted it together so that there's wire sticking from the bottom and the top of the butterfly, so I can use it to wire it onto the lamp cage. But I have to solder the wire onto the butterfly. So I'm soldering it, and then I'll solder all of those outside edges in the back. It's kind of hard to solder it in place. You basically have to just convince the solder to stay on top of the wire if any of it is sticking up. But, you know. And then when I get done, I have to solder the very outside edge by holding it up and doing each butterfly part separately. So I'm putting that outside bead on now. And now this butterfly is basically done, or at least ready to be attached to the lamp cage. And I just will use the wire to twist it on when I'm ready. So this is all of the butterfly sides together, and here they are all cleaned. And then here they are with all of the wires attached. And they're ready to go on the lamp. So I bought the light fixture and the light bulb and the cage, and I'm going to assemble the butterflies onto the lamp cage now, which I do by just twisting the wire around the cage. I was going to solder it on, but I realized that this is absolutely sufficient and they would never come off. At the same time, it might be nice to take them off if you wanted to one day on purpose, but they won't come off accidentally. And I just kind of applied them everywhere, all over the lamp. I didn't really have a plan. I just, put them where it seemed like it looked good at the time. So that one is attached, and you can see from the back that it's just wrapped around. So now they're all applied, and I'm going to patina them all black so that they will match the cage, and it hides imperfections, and it really hides the wire also, so you can't see it very much once it's done. So I'm using a foam brush, and I'm starting to apply that to all of the butterflies. And here it is, all patinaed, so you really can't see the wire much anymore. And now I assembled it all and hung it up, and this is how it looks hanging up. This is, indoors in the daytime. And you're looking at it kind of straight on, whereas it hangs overhead. I put it out at our back deck for now. And it sort of casts butterfly shadows, which is really great. And here it is hanging on the back deck. When it's starting to get dark outside.